Is up, everyone? If we are live, listen, welcome back to Elevating Beyond. And I'm just going to get right to it. I'm doing something I don't think I've ever done this. So I had an issue going on, and I'm about to show you live me going into the Jaguar dealership, the Range Rover dealership service department after they held our car for 2 months. And I'll explain to you why this was so messed up. And I went in there filming them because I'm going to hold these fools accountable. That's right. And as I share this with you, I'm going to talk about something that's so important. Listen, this is about like when not to turn the other cheek. Because I have a company, I'm all about leadership. I'm also a Christian. And there's a whole thing about allowing fear to stop you from being assertive when you need to be for the right reasons in order to be successful, then using the excuse of, oh, I need to just turn the other cheek and always be nice and be walked on like a doormat. No, 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 no. Like that mentality is what's freaking killing everyone. There's times, and I'll break it down, when you need to drop the ego, but there's times when you got to freaking stand up for yourself. Let me just go right into this. Listen, let me just set the stage for you. I am filming walking in to the dealership. This is after 2 months of, okay, let me just get ready to play it. But this is after 2 months of them having our vehicle, which it broke down due to something that they fixed like 6 months ago. The whole coolant system, which costs like $7,000. And on top of that, we had to have it towed in there. They took no accountability. Then 2 weeks went by. We had to get a rental. We called them, no calls back. What's going on with our car? Emails, calls, no calls back. We need to know what's going on. Finally, 3 weeks later, we have this information and we're ready to start working on your vehicle now. Since you are now just authorizing it, it's going to cost an additional $3,000. And I'm like, no, wait, like this is from something that you guys just recently fixed. So it's on you to take care of this. And we've been trying to get a hold of you for 3 weeks. No one's returning our calls or our emails. All I got was one excuse after the other. Well, I'm working from home right now and I can't get a hold of anyone at the service department. And okay, well, meanwhile, like we're stuck without a vehicle and we're continuing to pay for a rental and it's just so disorganized. But listen, we continue to try to work with them. Same thing happens. My wife has to go down there now. It's been a month. We haven't heard anything about what's going on. She goes in there finally to see what's up with our vehicle they've had for over a month now, just to fix like something that they already should have previously fixed the whole time we're paying for a rental car. And as she looks at it, she realizes the whole front end of it is dented in and scratched. And they're like, "Oh yeah, we almost have it ready." She's like, "What happened to my Land Rover?" They're like, "Well, what do you mean?" She's like, you guys freaking smashed the whole front end in and dented it and it's all scratched up." And they're like, "Oh, uh, I don't know. We'll have to ask the other department about that." Yes, it ended up being them. No, they didn't apologize. Oh, okay. We'll take that in to now replace it. And we'll have it done as soon as the part comes in. My wife asked, okay, well, when will that be? We'll get back to you. No one gets back to us. We get the same contacts, the same new manager assures, oh, contact me directly. We contact them. No one responds to us. We call, no one returns our calls. Like, and I'm calling them out. I'm going to play you the tape actually right now. I'm going to show you this live. I've never done this before and I like it. I'm going to start doing it more, holding you fools accountable. This is what business should not look like, by the way. And this is why you need to stand up for yourself at these times. I'll explain to you what happened after you watch the clip. Here it is. Let's see if this bad boy works. I'm having them. Hi. We've been contacting you guys. You've had our vehicle for 2 months. No one's been returning our calls or our emails. So it's last name's Minard.
Who was the service advisor?
I don't know. At this point, I need my car back, or else I'm going to call the cops. I emailed you guys this like 16 times. I'm also recording this. I've never had this happen in our lives with Range Rover or Land Rover. It's unbelievable. My wife's had to come here like 4 times.
Video?
I can do whatever I want. You have my car. He tried to tell me I can't record. Give me my car then. Or return our car. Right. Well, I have a podcast with 5 million listeners, so they're learning about it. So it's Minard, M-I-N-A-R-D. If you guys would return our calls or our emails and not put us through this, I'd never have to go through this. Trust me.
Sounds familiar. M-I-N-A-R-D?
Yes.
Oh, it's Ela. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Mark and Naiba. Unfortunately, every time we call, no one ever calls us back. We've emailed. It's going on 2 months now. We've had to rent a car for 2 months. I just flew back in from an event, had to drive here because no one will return our calls. Yep. Oh, I'm sorry for the inconvenience about that. Oh, no, they didn't say anything. This monotone, mediocre culture.
So it looks like this car is ready to be picked up.
It's ready to be picked
fantastic.
up. Magically.
So
But it wasn't.
your total is $3,192.
3,192. By the way, they were supposed to be covering most of that because it was on them.
All right?
Yeah. Did they fix the scratches on it?
I'm not sure what was fixed. I'm just looking at a screen and it says it looks like the car is ready.
Yeah, can you show it to me before we pay anything? Because based on our experience, this has been crazy. I'm not sure what's going on, but I've never had it where they're not returning the calls and
She's out
stuff.
of town. That's the thing. She's out. She's been out for 2 weeks now. And
Yeah, this is going on 2 months, but she is. Let me switch this over. Did you hear that? She is out of town. The lady that's been working with you. This is the whole Jaguar Land Rover service and sales department in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Yeah, I'm calling your butt out. I told you I would. Why wouldn't I? You guys are idiots. You cannot keep treating people like this. It's nonsense. I'm telling you, business owners, oh my God. First of all, I was tempted to give them a copy of 16 Reasons Why Your Business Sucks, how to be freaking awesome at every level of your business, leadership, profits, and build your own dream team. But then I realized this mediocre culture isn't going to read this. The businesses that are winning, that are over delivering, that take accountability are the ones reading this. Like my company, Dreamshine. That's why we're the best in our industry. Those that hire me to speak and come in and meet with the head leaders, the owners that buy my book, that I meet with the CEO, they're the ones that are really winning. Or if they're not, they want to learn like, holy crap, we're doing this. That's going on in my department. We need to fix that right away. Well, anyway, to go on with the next part of this story, and this is what I'm talking about when you need to step out of that comfort zone and stand up for what's right. This whole like always turn the other cheek has been way misconstrued, way misconstrued. Let me break it down for you in biblical terms. There was this dude, Goliath, right? And he was up there. Everyone was terrified of him. He was using blasphemy against everyone, against God, calling everyone cowards, saying, "Who are these men that are going to stand up to me that worship this weakly God and you think you're stronger than me?" Do you think David turned the other cheek? Why do you think God was the man that said, "David is the man after my own heart"? There are times when Goliath will get intentionally put into your life to test your faith. And God wants you to freaking man up and women up and take action. And like David did, cut their freaking heads off. For God's sake, enough of this mentality is not talked about. And it's written all throughout the Bible. Why do you think that's one of the most significant stories in there? Yes, on the flip side of it, there's times to turn the other cheek. And I'll explain how that relates to business and success. And I'm also going to tell you the outcome of this story with Land Rover, with Jaguar, what happened. But on the flip side of it, listen, there's plenty of battles that you need to drop your ego and you do turn your other cheek. There's times where I've had some petty like issues where we could have gone to court over like a $500 thing, even though we were in the right as a business. And I had to weigh it out. Okay, is this worth my time, my energy? And is this best, number one, overall for Dreamshine, for me to put all my time and energy into this? Or am I just feeding my ego? And at times when I realize I'm just feeding my ego, you've got to check yourself, drop that ego. There's times where I've left that. Okay, cool. Let them win that $500. Watch where they are in 5 years and watch where we are. I'm not going to invest my energy in that nonsense. And if you do the math, you end up losing way more than that in the time and energy you invest into it. Unless it's for like a critical point that you're having to stand up for an actual core value of your company and you're having to fight for something that's bigger than you. Then those are the times you need to do it. Now, in this specific situation, here's what happened. They came back and got me and took me into the other head director of the whole place's office, that whole location in Fort Lauderdale, Jaguar, Land Rover, Range Rover. He sat down with me and I went through the same spiel with him. And then he said, "Oh, well, the other guy that you emailed, he's also been gone for 2 weeks." And I'm like, okay. So between the two main people you have, that's a month. And he's like, "So it's not our fault." And I'm like, dude. Do you guys all work for Range Rover and Jaguar? Yes. Okay. So if this person drops the ball because they're sick, it's still on you as a freaking company to take accountability to make sure it gets done. You're looking me in the eye right now and telling me, basically, F you. I don't care. That person was gone. And I'm like, by the way, we've been having to pay $800 a week for a rental while we've been waiting almost 2 months for this to be fixed, which we've been calling you guys. I had proof over 50 times, emailing you over and over again. no one returning our calls, no one returning our emails. And then finally, I'm like, look, I need you guys to at least cover the cost of our rental for all this time. And I need proof as to exactly what's going on with our vehicle. I need to see it today, and I need to see proof of when it's going to be ready. And he's like, okay, well, I'm the other manager here, and I'll handle this directly, and you can get in touch with me. And I'm like, no, dude, that's what the other person said, and the other person before them said, and the other person before them said. And guess what? None of them ever got back in touch with us, and they've continued to be gone for 2 weeks at a time. The only one that's being affected here is me. And I'm like, I said, with all due respect, actually, I said, no, I don't have any respect for you, to be honest, because you guys' actions never follow up your words. And you've been continuing to treat us like dirt. And we're having to take time out of our day, drive 30 minutes down here just to get in touch with someone to find out what's going on with our vehicle that's been here for going on 2 months. And you still can't even give me an answer. And then he's like, okay, well, if I'm to compensate you for some of this rental, $800 a week. I'm like, yeah, $119 a day is what it's been costing. He's like, I don't think so. I'm like, you don't think so? When was the last time you rented a car, an SUV? We have 4 kids we have to drive around. I'm like, thank God we didn't rent a Land Rover or a Range Rover, which you guys are fixing, because that would be like $500 a day. I'm like, are you out of your mind? Like, you really have no idea what you're talking about. And I said, seriously, you know what would mean a lot is just for you to say, like, I'm sorry, man. Like, we effed up. And I said, it's not even just about the money. Just do something to show that you guys care a little bit. I'm like, this is pathetic. Anyway, I sat there. This took 2 hours, by the way. And you have to be willing to go through these courageous conversations and uncomfortable silences, because I gave him the number for the rental. He's like, well, let me go check with it. He leaves, comes back. Well, I don't think we can do that amount. I'm like, well, okay, well, I didn't add in also the time for what my like rate is for my services, my billing, my speaking, and all the time I've had to take out of that to keep investing into that. We can put that in the bottom line. I didn't add in all the gas that we've had to continually pay, all the other expenses. So actually, you owe us more than that. I'm actually trying to be nice by only having you pay that. And we need to expose this whole customer service that you guys have and how you're treating people, because this is horrible. I'm like, if I hadn't come in here today, we'd be going into December on 3 months and still not having any answers, still not having our vehicle. And I'm like, and you don't care, right? Because we're the ones paying for it. We're paying for the rental. This is where you have to stop allowing people to do you like this, I'm telling you. Anyway, it ended up that I finally got him to show me proof that they had the other part in, which they broke, by the way, which they scratched when it was in the dealership, and that they would have it fixed by the next day, and personally got his direct number and cell phone number, which, by the way, I had to test while I was there with him. And I said, listen, you have not earned, not earned. You've betrayed our trust. So I don't trust you at all. So I need to call right now from my phone and make sure that I see your cell phone ring and it's directly to you, not just to some random person that's working out of their freaking house. That's a whole other story. Tested it, called it. It was his personal cell. Okay. Long story short, they called the next day and they said the vehicle is going to be ready tomorrow. They're going to cover 100% of the costs. All right, so thank God, that's good, right? We're still having to pay a little more for the total cost of like what the rental was. They're covering all the costs to fix it and some of the other stuff. At least it's ending somewhat well for a nightmare situation. But if you just continue to allow these people like this, or in your business, or whatever it may be, to walk all over you and treat you like some certain kind of way, then you're telling people that it's okay to treat me like crap. They'll keep treating you like crap. It's the same way in leadership. I'm nice. I love people. It's servant leadership. We serve people. But when you have someone that's toxic and bringing the whole team down, or even if you have a client that's toxic, a good friend of mine owns a great company with over 800 employees and team members, thousands of clients. They have a no jerk policy for their clients. That's right, for their clients. And it's if their clients continue to be like emotionally abusive, if they're not willing to have like healthy conflict. And by the way, this place doesn't do like Land Rover did. Like they'll take accountability when something goes wrong. But if they don't, they'll work with you to resolve it. But if beyond that, if you're belligerent and you're just going to cuss them out and be a jerk all the time and treat their staff like crap, they'll fire you as a client because they have standards. And that's the way it goes with anyone toxic, with any team members. Yes, there is times when you need to turn the other cheek and walk away, and it's not worth wasting your time on these fools. I had a quote before from Mark Twain about stupid people. Like, don't keep arguing with stupid people. They'll continue to beat you down and win with experience. And that's true. That's a waste of energy. But same thing with any important part in life, like in marriage, whatever it may be, there's times, of course, to turn the other cheek. You don't need to get into an argument over everything. It's not worth it. But when it's a serious core value that someone's breaking and one of the partners is breaking, you need to have that courageous conversation and talk to them and say, no, this isn't okay. This is not how we're going to do this. It may lead to a fight. It may lead to some conflict. But you can push through it and get to the other side, and you're fighting for the betterment of your family, of your core values, of your company. And I'm telling you, listen, no one enjoys doing this. Like, I'm not just some dictator that's like a jerk that's like, oh, no one will ever get the better of me. And I'm going to, no. There's plenty of times with our company. I have to work with politics. I've had a fight up against the governor, up to the federal level. There's plenty of battles where I've chose to drop my ego and look at the bigger picture and how do we move forward and get to the next level, even if it means them looking great and getting all the credit for something they didn't do. But if it takes us to that next level, sweet, onward and upward. There's other times where we've been bullied by people very high up, and they tried to fraudulently not allow clients into our program, Dreamshine, with developmental disabilities, because they had the monopoly on all the state programs. And the way the funding works, it's a long story, but it took me going in there with the rules and the laws to the high up people, the superintendents, all the way up to the top of the state, and saying, you're literally breaking the law. I don't care right now that it's 15 years ago and it's only me and one other team member and I'm 26 years old and I'm just some kid. You're breaking the law and you're neglecting these individual rights. The way their insurance works is we're certified and they're allowed to make the decision to go to any provider they want that's a certified provider. And if not, you're committing Medicaid and Medicare fraud, and I will report you. That's what it takes sometimes. Had I not done that, Dream Shine right now, 15 years later, we wouldn't be serving almost 60 individuals on our amazing 2.5-acre campus. That's right, with a waterfront lodge, and thank God the log home, our new pirate ship building that we're building, our new Dream Shine podcast that we're starting, where we're involving our amazing individuals with developmental disabilities to be part of the show. Stay tuned for that. And to have paid job opportunities, and our amazing team as we're getting closer to 20 incredible team members, and the leadership and the growth and this show and my books and all of you. None of that would have ever happened if I would have constantly turned the other cheek. Like, dude, even Jesus at times got mad and flipped some tables over. Look it up. There's a time where he says he even made a whip out of leather. He twisted up and started whipping it at people. That's right. He turned the cheek a lot, but there was times when enough is enough. And you have to learn to intentionally stand up for yourself when it comes down to these core values. So that's it, everyone. And I'm calling you out again. Land Rover, Jaguar dealership and service department in Fort Lauderdale. You suck. Everyone listening, do anything you can to not ever go there. Okay? Do not go there. I will call places out. I told them I would, and I've had a lot of bad experiences, and this is the first time that it's gotten to the point where I'm publicly calling them out on air, on the show, using it as an example. So listen, everyone, you got this, but there are times, I'm telling you, man up, women up, and it's okay to freaking stand up for what's right. Don't ever let anyone do you like that and start making you think that you're someone that can constantly be disrespected and walked on like a freaking doormat and abuse you and bully you. God doesn't want that. God has Jesus in your heart and said, I have given you the strength to trample snakes, to freaking not only climb mountains, but to move mountains. You understand what I'm saying? Be kind to people, love people, and also stand up for what's right. All right, everyone, I am out of here. Never settle, never give up, and keep elevating beyond.